Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is challenge number 2 over at the Counterfeit Kit challenge, and as part of the design team I try to do as many of the challenges as I can, and this time around we are talking about special moments. So let's dive into this layout process. Alright, so this is the story I'm going to tell about this owl who just showed up one day and sat on our fence in the afternoon and stayed there for a couple hours. And honestly, between the time of building my scrapbook kit, which you see here, and if you don't know about that kit build project, I will link you up below. But between building the kit and including some owl-specific embellishments, because I knew I wanted to tell this story, and actually getting to this challenge to tell this story, I had forgotten not only about, this photo, but also about a piece of paper in here that would be perfect. So I flipped through my photos to figure out which story I wanted to tell. I saw this photo, remembered, yeah. And then as I was flipping through my papers, I saw this forest paper, and I was like, oh yeah. So I tell you, I scrapbook because my memory is terrible. And that is just part of how I roll these days. It's just worse than ever. At any rate, I have started the process of putting together a design for this layout, which is going to include my photo down in the bottom right and my title up in the top left. And this piece that I'm cutting apart here was left over from a previous layout that I had die cut my letters out of. That's fun foam. And if you've never die cut fun foam before, it's super simple. You just run it through like you would on paper, and most of the time you'll get good results. But if you need to, just add an extra sheet of cardstock shim in there, and it should cut like butter. It shouldn't be any different than cutting paper. So as I explained all that, I did set up the rest of my title to cut with the same die cut set. And this time I'm using the positive of the letters to go along with that negative piece. And I am setting my title up on a contrasting piece of pattern paper so that you can see it better. I didn't want to put the black titles on top of that dark pattern paper in the background, so this helps the title pop off of the page. And I am going to make that as small as I can because I want to be sure that I see enough of that foresty print because it is a beautiful piece of paper and it totally sets the mood. So with my basics of my title in place, I will definitely go back and add more to that. I am going to start my embellishment clusters around my photo. I did trim my photo down a little bit to fit on a mat that I had previously cut that was not the right size for a project, so I just cut my photo to fit the mat instead of the other way around. And I'm using a little bit of leftover scraps from cutting the background banner for my title, and I'm going to add that down to the bottom so that I'm tying the two areas of the layout together. And as I work on my cluster, I will really want to show off certain areas of that pattern paper. It's like a foresty, I'm pretty sure it's Maggie Holmes, foresty Maggie Holmes pattern paper print. And in my embellishments that I made this month, and if you haven't seen my embellishment making video, I'll link you up to that too. I made all of my own kind of die cut ephemera pieces. And in that video, I made this little window frame, and it fit so perfectly around the owl and the deer on that background pattern, on that background pattern paper that I had to frame out those animals, and I'm going to let that kind of be the star of the show on that side of my embellishment clusters. Now, I am popping up my main photo on some of this fun foam. This is adhesive foam. This is a new foam product to me, and I'm still trying to get the hang of it. I like that it's pre-cut into, I think it's 2 by 3 inch or 1 by 3 inch pieces. I'm finding the liners a little tougher to remove than previously, and this foam is thinner than what I have been using, which I thought I wouldn't like, but I'm actually ending up liking it because I can do multiple layers for different parts of my layout. So I'll tell you more about that foam once I kind of decide if I like it or not. Right now, the liners being harder to remove is my sticking point. At any rate, I am working on my embellishment clusters here, and the last video that I posted, I did more of a deep dive into how I work my embellishment clusters, so I'm not going to do that again this time, but if you want to go back and catch that, I will link you up to that as well. So I've got lots of links for you today, and you'll find those up in the upper corner of the video where you can just click and link through, or if you look at the show description down below, you can also find the links down there. All right, and here's where I am spicing up my title just a little bit more. You can see I have a little bit of embellishments to the upper right of my photo, and here's where I'm deciding if the elements around my title are working as my third embellishment cluster, or if they're working just as my title decoration. And I've got 2 embellishment clusters around the photo already, and so I'm trying to decide how I want to proceed with the rest of my embellishing. And I had some ideas, and then I had better ideas, so I moved some things back down. And here's why I added more fun foam, and that is what I am liking about this foam, is that I can build up layers in different areas with that embellishment cluster versus the photo. So I'm still undecided, like I said. But as I finish working these embellishment clusters, I am going to decide to go ahead and do a third one up above that photo. And part of what was not working was that my cluster was getting a little too big. So I'm going to tone it down by tucking it more under things and behind things so that it's there, but it's not drawing as much attention. And then everything that I put up around my title is just going to be the decoration up there with my title. So my overall layout has this kind of diagonal flow to it, from reading the title to the eye going down to the photo, and then checking out all of the pretty bits and pieces. And that little leafy cluster up there actually kind of points the way down towards that photo. So that is the layout today to talk about this special moment. And if you want to see more special moment layout ideas, do go check out the design team. We've got lots of stuff to share. And if you want to join our Facebook group and share your own works, we would love to see what you have going on. Oh, and I did get my journaling in after I stopped filming, but you can see that I did have it on there in these final photos. So that is it for me today. I actually will be back tomorrow with another video for you as part of a group hop on using stamping on your layouts. So if you are curious about that, I hope you will join me tomorrow. And until then, have an artful day.